questions and answers, and you are welcome to commence when you are ready. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and thank you for this opportunity to present. My presentation is going to discuss about from Sakai to Moodle, the effect of the new LMS at Unisa. And because it was a broader topic when I sent my abstract, I decided to separate into two parts in terms of the effect and also looking in terms of student retention. And today I am going to talk about the effect. If we look in terms of University of South Africa, in terms of last year, they implemented Moodle as a new learning management system as a way of enhancing teaching and learning within an open distance e-learning or a comprehensive open distance e-learning in line with Unisa 2030 strategic plan. Through the experience obtained within a signature module, which is a fully online module, AFL 1501. Today, we're actually going to share the experience obtained while teaching the module and discuss a cultural change from understanding that from the old system, which was a Sakai, to a new LMS that is called Moodle. This is done through the employment of explanatory research design in line with pedagogy and interaction in virtual learning environment theory to look in terms of the impact of the change prompted by a new LMS. In 2013, University of South Africa repositioned itself within the sphere that we call the open distance e-learning by introducing modules that we know signature module. And there were 6 of them, and all these modules, each of the one representing a college. These modules were aiming at improving the culture of learning or online learning by looking at the academic lifestyle and experience of undergraduate students, facilitating the improvement of academic intellectual engagement, supporting students to commit to their work and assisting them in understanding how to work appropriately with others. The signature modules were intended to promote the culture of full online as indicated and the experience of what, when, how is needed for one to move fully online. Those modules, they pave a way for innovative teaching and move the university forward towards becoming one of the leading ODL or CA Cordal institutions. The 6 modules in 2013, when they were introduced, as indicated in terms of here, we can see that all these modules, the pass rate of those modules, they were below 60% because if we look in terms specifically on the module that we're going to be talking based on and experience in terms of that one, FL 1501, that's language through an African lens, it was 58.22% in 2013. And today we are going to discuss in terms of the changes that occur until now. Through development, understanding, continuous support and improvement in the mode of teaching, in semester 2 of 2021, we can see the improvement in terms of this module. And we're going to elaborate much more later on in terms of FF 1501, the same module that at the beginning of the new implementation of the new ways of teaching at Unisa, it was 58% in terms of the pass rate. But through the understanding, it kept on improving into 86%. This improvement rate, improved rate indicates a shift in understanding compared to 2013. For this article or this presentation, the focus is only on FF1501. A note is taken of what transpired and how this full online module to achieve a high pass rate. If we look in terms of the literature, as a way of moving and developing new strategy, Unisa opted to use Moodle as Sakai, the previous LMS, had challenges with capacity and performance and could no longer be improved and upgraded. Hume and Gallas pointed out that Moodle LMS offers even a wider range of specific resources and that its application could be solved not only from a technical perspective of software, but rather through an understanding of its methodology used for the teaching. In agreement with this perspective, that's why Kasim and Khaled stated that Moodle is one of the better systems because it provides many features that meet the needs of students. The decision to move to Moodle was also based on the 2030 Unisa strategic plan for improving interactiveness and innovative assessment. The Unisa Strategy 2030 document elaborated that innovative requires the adoption of a problem-solving approach rather than problem identification. It is with this in mind that Moodle champions were identified within each college to assist in recognizing Moodle-related problems within departments and colleges and assisting lecturers who requires help. Should that champion at a particular time that he or she is asked a question, does not understand how to answer or to assist colleagues, then one of the ways it was actually to go back in terms of the expert and ask them how to answer those colleagues. This is done actually in terms of the practice of Moodle. It is done through the three actually theories that were implemented. This is a theory of technology as an extension of human faculty, pedagogical approach, and interactive in virtual environment, IVE. These theories, approaches, and framework assist the FL 1501 module in promoting the core principle of a full online module. If we look in terms of the theory of technology as an extension of human faculty, was established by McLuhan, Kapp, and Rodenberg, with the belief that knowledge is being shared and there is an interconnection between people and technology, which means that the technology extends one's or immense ability and power, since humans have limited ability and what they can do within a specific time is limited. Rothenberg further stated that rather than extending human intention, technology extends how intention can be realized. This indicates that technology is an extension of our own faculty as expert, of which humans have additional mechanical knowledge, which means that, for example, you might have an intention of saying that I have an intention of going to UP, but for you to be able to get there on time, within a stipulated time, you need the technology to take you from point A to point B. This is not the only theory that's going to be utilized in terms of the analysis of this study or in terms of this paper. Pedagogy also allows teachers to provide the source and the student to design the actual course by collecting information based on the knowledge obtained, learned, and gathered. Through the changes, such as the demand of the global knowledge economy that have occurred in recent time, students are to effectively and creatively apply skills and competencies to new situations and ever complex world. However, pedagogy requires that students be given the right platform, which includes the infrastructure for them to excel and teachers to provide the correct support and guidelines. It's not only about giving the student the infrastructure, which is the technology, because most of them they have. It's also about the support that one needs to give into the student. Interactive, which is IVE, interactive in virtual environment, emphasize the importance of interaction in education environment, whether it is face-to-face, through technology, or blended mode. This interaction can be done through synchronously, where a teacher and a student will meet in a real situation to interact with each other, and the interaction is scheduled. It can be a live discussion, instant feedback between students and teachers and or among peers. The interaction can also be done asynchronous, where students can access material at a different time and work at their own pace. This requires students to be independent and is in line with the pedagogy. The disadvantage, though, of this is that the material can be misconstrued if no one is there to provide clarity, and students can also feel overwhelmed by working alone. So it is very, very important that no matter what, online or what, student needs always to be supported. For this particular research, the author wanted to explain the what, why, and how of the signature module, FF1501. As such, an explanatory research design was used to enable an understanding of why and how certain things occur within the signature module. The study was based on the experience obtained by the author while teaching the module 1501 at Unisa. The author opted to use as well what we call naturalistic observation, collect data, as it allows one to look at the participant or situation in its natural setting. Furthermore, Lincoln and Guber elaborated that the good part of NO is that subjects do not know that they are being observed and no consent is needed. If I will look in terms of the results and also look in terms of the finding, we can see that in terms of from the signature module point of view, from 2013, as I indicated previously, that there was a 58.22% pass rate in 2013. Let us look in terms of each year. From 2019, there was 77, 2019 as well in terms of December. This was June, December, it was 77. In 2020, it was 86. So the average of everyone, while using Sakai system, which is the old system that we're using, the average, it was around 73 to 75, around this area, because 77, 77, 86, 73, and 89, 87. And then in 2022, June, which is just last semester, there was a huge drop in terms of the mark. And then now the question is why and what happened for that to happen. Based on the experience of 1501, the lack, for me, one can say that it was a lack of a clear understanding of how the system and the setting functioned was among underlying reasons that affected the pass rate of the student. Even after there was a training, a proper training in terms of the teaching assistants, TAs, e-tutors, student, and also academics, one could pick up that there was no clear understanding of all the setting and the impact of adding or removing certain elements within the system. Because when we started to open in terms of the Moodle, or when we started with the Moodle system, there was this kind of an empty and a go ahead. Everyone, there was a freedom of using the system. And while not all the people requires that kind of a freedom, sometimes you need to hold the freedom of them, because this is one of the things that made most of the students to even play around with the system and even submitting the assessment and deleting their own assessment without knowing what they were doing. As per Unisa 2021B assessment procedure manual, students are allowed to be given one opportunity to submit their assessment, provided their submission is before the assessment day. So what we did in terms of based on the analysis, looking in terms of the problem that we encountered in terms of all the assessment, we saw that there was a need for students actually to be given an opportunity to submit one assessment out of 6. There are 6 assessments in terms of signature module, but the 7th one, we said this is a supporting assessment that we need to be able to give to the student. However, that still did not assist in terms of the student to pick up which assessment they want to redo, but with the changes, they could not now, even when they submitted their assessment, pass because of the fact that they knew and they realized that now this system is too much friendly, too all-friendly or something like that, and they got overwhelmed within the system. However, as we indicated, this did not change the marks of the student. It means that the problem of over-opening the system when using a new LMS was a bit of a concern, and the problem of the training of the student, all of the students, because not all the students that we find online can actually be able to afford the and system to be able to do what, to be able to understand what needs to be done. So it was discussed the shared experience of implementing a new LMS within this presentation, elaborated on some of the challenges that occur through the change from the Sakai to Moodle. During this change process, one needs to understand that one needs to understand the system enough, or get someone who understands the system to train those who are new and do not understand the system, just to eliminate the problem related to the system. Although it was important for 2030 strategic plan within Unisa to implement the new elements to it, any changes such as that of a system would have expected impact on the pass rate. So in the results, there was a drop in the pass rate of the module due to the lack of understanding of a new LMS by the users of the system. However, it must be noted that the new LMS created the innovative way for STT, which is a student to teacher interaction, STS, student to student interaction, and also STC, which is student to teacher, student to content interaction, and allowed lectures and student to explore different ways of teaching and learning. The introduction of a new LMS will allow pedagogical approach to be implemented comprehensively within online module and argument in terms of continuous assessment. With proper shared information and discussion on the community of practice, I believe that the pass rate will improve exponentially as both student and lecturer, we have a better understanding of how to navigate the new LMS. I wish I had much more time, even elaborate much more, but because of the time, I decided this is what I will discuss in terms of today. And thank you so much for the opportunity given.
Thank you so much, Jabulani. That was a really great presentation. Unfortunately, we've run out of time, so we won't have more questions, but you are welcome to engage with Jabulani in Kumo's space session during lunchtime if he's there. Just as a reminder, if you want to do the next session, next scroll the window and use a different link in the program. And also you'll see that Tandiwe has posted competition links and lucky draw links that you can also access throughout the rest of the day. Thanks so much, and I'll see everyone in the next room. Bye.